Hi guys, it's Frankie from Frankie Tech. Good to see you guys again. Guys, this is going to be a quick video here. I just wanted to put these two phones next to each other and really just kind of answer this question. I hadn't had a chance to review the Mate 20 Pro right here, and my time with it has been really interesting. It's been a great phone. I've enjoyed the looks, I've enjoyed the feel of it, and yet it just made me kind of start thinking of a question that I wanted to pose in this video. And that's really, looking at the kind of the smartphone market, how it's evolving. We have what would be considered a super flagship, and we have what is considered a budget phone, like really just a budget phone. And the question is this phone really that much better than this phone? Is what you get for the Mate 20 Pro for the 6,000 Hong Kong dollars I spent on it, or around almost 800 US dollars, is it worth all that extra money over what the Redmi Note 7, which is a $150 phone? Now, so this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm trying a little bit of a different format here, and so I want you to look at the specs of these two phones, and I put them up right here, and I will go through these specs real quick, but I really want to kind of just get into the experience of these two phones and really kind of give my take on it. So, talking about dimensions, we have 8.6 millimeters on the Mate 20 Pro versus 8.1 on the Redmi Note 7. And in terms of design, you can see they are very different phones here. Now, the side bezels, as you can see there, are kind of similar, but the bottom chin on the Mate 20 Pro is far, far smaller. But on the top, you have this really big notch on the Mate 20 Pro. And that notch is housing all of that kind of Face ID goodness and all that kind of awesome camera technology of the Mate 20 Pro. The Redmi Note 7 has this smaller notch, but it doesn't have much there. Really, it's design-wise kind of a very different comparison here. I'd probably give the edge, obviously, to the Mate 20 Pro, but I still think for the money, this is a great design. And you see with the back of this phone, look at that gradient pack. Compare these two gradient packs right there. I mean, this looks so striking. It's just gorgeous. But this phone is as striking, and I think for the price, it really gives the Mate 20 Pro a run for its money in terms of just overall kind of look and appeal. Now, quickly going into displays, this is where they are very different. We have AMOLED on this 6.39 inches versus a 6.3 IPS LCD. And, you can see kind of the banding that's happening because of the video here, but this display is just stellar. I mean, look at it compared to the Redmi Note 7s. Now, nothing to take away from the Redmi Note 7. It's still a really, I think, solid IPS panel, but the colors are just deeper. You can see there the blues, how much deeper they look. And sorry for the lighting here, guys. Getting the setup back together, but it's a very overcast day here in Hong Kong. And you can see the kind of also the brightness of the Mate 20 Pro is something very noticeable there as well. It's max brightness on this one. I mean, which one looks more appealing to you? The Reds, AMOLED, it's just going to be hard to compete with AMOLED because of this just deep saturation, and the Mate 20 Pro's panel is clearly better in this case. But is it $800 or $650 better? I don't think so. And I think that's the main point here, is that when it comes down to it, this display on the Redmi Note 7 is pretty dang good for the price. Performance, that's going to be a big one as well, and the Kirin 980 is just going to perform like none other. As you've seen in my previous Geekbench scores, this phone does really well in terms of just raw performance. Pull up Mate 20 Pro Geekbench. It's got the same scores as the Mate 20X did, and solid scores right here for the Mate 20 Pro. Now, this is the Hong Kong version right here that I have, so it is the LYA L29 version with a 3,390 single-core score, multi-core of 10,000. So it's clearly it's almost doubling the performance in the benchmarks of the Redmi Note 7. But once again, is that $650 worth of a difference? The 660 is, it definitely is no slouch, but I wish if this had a 675, I would really think that price to performance ratio on the Redmi Note 7, while already very good, would just be unbeatable. And I think, yes, you have a top of the line processor in the Kirin 980, but it just in daily use, the Redmi Note 7 has been solid. It keeps things in memory. This is the 6GB version, so I think that is also making a difference. Is the 8GB really going to improve the experience on this Mate 20 Pro? Yeah, of course it will. And honestly, you can see it there. As I open up apps load very quickly on the Mate 20 Pro. It's a great phone. It's a solid phone. And I think in another world, it would have been my favorite phone of 2018. But I think the Redmi Note 7 here really holds its own compared to the Mate 20 Pro. And now looking at YouTube and just kind of overall audio experience, let's play a quick Frankie Tech video here. And so you see them there. Let's hear how this Mate 20 Pro does. Volume sounds really crisp there. And the one major thing that I think people have complained about with this, you see it there, with this Mate 20 Pro is the actual speaker. The speaker, there is no speaker. And it actually is coming out of the jack here, the USB-C port. Now, how does that make for sound quality? You be the judge of it. Max volume on the Mate 20 Pro. And see, does this OnePlus 6T live up to all the hype it received and praise? Max volume on the Redmi Note 7. Done very nicely. Although I must say that the adapter here for 3.5mm is a little bit flimsy, but a great unboxing. So I think looking at just the visual and looking at the audio there of those two, I mean, for a flagship phone to not have like dual speakers and to actually not have a better audio solution than that, I really think is one of the major missed opportunities of this Mate 20 Pro, and it does not compare to the Mate 20X and the dual speaker quality that it had. So that was a real letdown, and one of the major reasons also why I did feel let down with this phone is that audio quality. It's not terrible, but I think even the Redmi Note 7 can kind of compare to it, and that is kind of shocking to considering there's a $650 price difference there between these two phones. And so talking about camera quality here, well, the reality is I have not kind of gone through the full test of the Mate 20 Pro yet. I have taken some shots and the camera quality looks pretty amazing, I gotta say. Even from the initial shots I took of this phone, with this phone, you see there, some of these shots just look really nice. I mean, this one was really special. I just happened to take a photo of the skyline here of Hong Kong, and one of the iconic junks was sailing by. So what a beautiful shot that is. And the top notch doesn't bother me too much. It's not too bad. I'll have to do a full camera comparison between these two right here. And so stay tuned for that. But I think the major point, the major question I want to answer here, and it's funny because I said I was just going to go through the specs quickly here, but instead I just spent the entire video doing the specs of the phone. This is the major issue, guys, with this type of kind of video, with this type of thing. It's all about the specs and it's not about the experience. And I think my whole point of making this video is that I want to understand if this phone that costs $150 now, or that you can get in my upcoming giveaway, stay tuned for that, is this phone that much worse or so much worse than the Mate 20 Pro, just in terms of overall day-to-day use? It's not. And that was the epiphany moment that I had, and it kind of was a wake-up call for my entire channel. There are so many phones that are coming out that are just redefining their price points and redefining what you can get for $150. And yes, can I afford this phone? Can I afford to buy this and try this out and then sell it back? I could keep this phone forever if I wanted to. Yes, I could. But there's something about spending your money on something that gives you that much value that just feels good. It feels great. And it's something that just made me kind of click in my mind. I use a lot of flagship phones and I love flagship phones, but I've been reviewing so many of these Xiaomi phones, so many of these value phones, that it's starting to dawn on me that I really need to kind of go the next step with these value phones. And that means really kind of just digging in and doubling down on reviewing mostly Xiaomi-like phones on this channel moving forward, and really going even lower than that, kind of checking out what phones you can get for $100 or $50. I think that's going to be something that, where I can really provide that great insight from someone who has used flagship phones for so long. And don't get me wrong, to all you Huawei, lovers out there, I love Huawei, I love Honor, what they've been doing, and I think there's some great phones coming out that they offer at kind of the budget and mid-range segments that I want to check out. But I feel like in this moment of trying out the Mate 20 Pro, I just came to the conclusion that there really isn't any reason to have to spend that much on this phone. And there really isn't a reason for me to spend that much on this phone. And the iPhone that I'm filming on here almost died earlier this week, and it was a terrible experience. It's back now, and the iPhone's filming right now, so good job for that. But other than like kind of some slight differences in camera quality, video quality, it's just amazing to think that a $150 phone is able to provide me that much value over this Mate 20 Pro. And so kind of final verdict here, which phone wins this kind of battle here? Well, if you're talking about just pure quality, pure level of experience, well, you could probably say the Mate 20 Pro is going to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you, though, why it doesn't for me and why I feel that the Redmi Note 7 is still my choice of go-to phone between these two. When you're spending that much on a phone, you better love every aspect of it. And there's the one thing about this phone that I said in the beginning, and it was very true, and I knew it might be a challenge for me that I wouldn't like. And that's the curved edges. And you see them there. You know, you guys were asking about the green tint issue. You see on my unit there, there's a little bit of greening when you kind of turn it that way. You see it there. And you see it there. There's a little bit of green tint there. When I turn it the other way, this is going to be very clear here. See, there it is. There's the green tint. Zoom in there from a distance. And, you know, I'm not saying that this panel is any better. This is a great panel. But it's something that you can't unsee. Once you use it, you just cannot unsee it. But when I just started using this phone, I remembered once again why I didn't like curved edges. And it's a lot of just daily use experience. I have not the thinnest hands in the world. I just found myself clicking on buttons, and I'll try to recreate it here. And it's hard to recreate kind of in the moment, but the point is that there is spurious kind of touches that happen on the edge of this phone. The green tint is an annoyance. It is an annoyance. And with all the amazing features that this phone brings to the table, like, you know, the face unlock, like the in-display fingerprint scanner, all these things are amazing on this phone. It's a really great phone, but it's just hampered by the fact, and I really hate to say this, but it's true, they went the Samsung route with these curved edges. And for me, at least, they pretty much ruined what would have otherwise been the best phone of the year. And these curved edges, they just don't do it for me. I really just don't like them. And I think I will always not like them. And I think that's why when the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus comes out, and you guys are going to be dropping comments every second, like, review the S10, review the S10. I may review the S10, but I'm not going to keep the S10. And it's for the same reason why I should have used my intuition, knowing that I didn't like the curved edges on this phone, and that was going to be a deal breaker for me from the start. Well, it was. And so I will not be keeping the Mate 20 Pro much longer. And I will say that if you really had to pick between this phone and the Mate 20X, I would say go for the Mate 20X. This phone has a lot of the looks. It has a lot of the pizzazz that I think really wows phone reviewers and stuff like that. And it's got that Quad HD display, amazing performance, in-display fingerprint scanner, the Face ID, the awesome camera. It's a killer phone, but it's just not for me. And if it is for you, though, I'm glad you enjoy it. But I would say pick up the Mate 20X over this phone. There's just so much more that it offers in terms of battery life, camera quality, audio quality. The audio quality on this phone is just not as good. There's no headphone jack to speak of on this phone, and it really is unfortunate. And then to answer the last question, which phone really does provide the most value? It's a no-brainer. The Redmi Note 7 is a terrific phone. It's the kind of phone that makes you feel like you're getting away with something. You're getting a phone for so much better a price than what this phone cost me. And no 8 gigs and no 256 gigs of storage will make a difference. And there you go. There's 256 gigs for you. Great. I have Google Photos. I'll never use that much space. I don't even use that much space on my 256 gig iPhone. And I spend every single day of every week filming 4K 60 frame per second video on it, and I don't fill it up. So unless you really, really want to have the top of the line, you love the curved edges, this is the phone for you. I think it's a great phone, the Mate 20 Pro, but it's just not for me. But that's it for this video, guys. A little ranty, a little long here. I'm still trying to figure out what's next for my channel. I really do think I'm going to be starting to explore the budget segments of phone tech and just seeing how much value you can get out of phones that are $150, $100, even $50. Just stay tuned for that, because there is going to be some interesting new phones that I'll be kind of reviewing that really are going to kind of be scraping the bottom in terms of price points, but that I think may be very interesting. And let me know in the comments also which kind of more budget phones you may want to see from this channel. What about the Nokia 3.1 Plus? What about other Xiaomi phones, or maybe kind of from other vendors that you might want to see there? Let me know as well, because I think this was a really eye-opening moment for me, and just realizing how much value the Redmi Note 7 provided, that I really kind of second-guessed myself in that moment now, and really kind of regretting it. Like, why did I buy this? Why? I bought it because I needed to answer that question, and I've answered it. And so all you guys who can't afford this phone, don't feel bad, because you can buy this phone and you can win in my giveaway, and it's an amazing phone for the price. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, give me that thumbs up. And if you love the content of Frankie Tech, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon for future updates. Thanks for watching, guys. Bit of a frazzled video here, but you do get rusty even after a few days off of making videos. And stay tuned, I will be coming back with some more great content for you guys very soon. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. This is where I leave you by saying, this is Frankie Tech signing off. Y'all have a good one.